What's up, everybody? It is the show that just keeps on giving. Dad's turn to talk. I am Joshua Adam Naparstik. We are recording this on a Friday night, a little bit different this week because I just got back from beautiful Mexico with the family just yesterday. Had an amazing trip. Would like to now introduce to you my partners in crime. The first gentleman, as you know, I've known since 1999, since we met up at Hooters and watched a WWE pay-per-view event, No Mercy, that had a fantastic tag team match with it, Mr. Derek William Tandro. Derek, how are you tonight?
I was fine until that introduction. We just lost all the subscribers we gained this week.
It's all right, Derek. I used to go to Hooters too, so
there's another 3 just unsubscribed.
There's another 3. How you doing, Dereko?
Doing good. Can't complain. It's I don't know why, but for some odd reason, when it's springtime here, I think I've told you guys this. It feels like it still stays cold, so it's pretty windy outside, but that's about the worst of it.
Okay. Family's good?
Last I checked, I don't know. They'll be fine.
We just got our subscribers back.
Mm-hmm.
All right. My second host tonight is a man I have known since, well, let's just say a very, very long time. One of the best bowlers I've ever met and known, Mr. Bobby Smith. How you doing tonight, Bobo?
Well, I'm doing good up until that intro because now everybody's going to think that I'm a great bowler or anything. It's just that compared to you, my scores look really good.
That's true. I mean, I did bowl a 300 against you, so.
Yeah, in your dreams. Actually, I think that 300 was like when he added 10 games together.
Exactly.
When have you ever bowled?
Oh, we used to go bowling all the time. Bob can testify to that, right?
Yeah, we did. We did that midnight bowling where we would go and they'd turn out dim all the lights and everything was like all neon and stuff like that. Yes. And they'd light up the floors. So that was pretty cool because then you could bowl as many games as you want. Now, we would have been able to get a lot more games in, but by the time the ball actually made it down the lane when Josh would throw it, this beard had grown out a lot longer. So,
love you too, Bob. Thank you for letting everybody know how I bowl. First the golf, then the bowling. We got to get him on the show. I think we would. Could you imagine that?
We need a lot more subscribers before we get J.K. Simmons on the show.
I know. He's like, so how many subscribers do you have? 25?
25. We're just gearing up.
Anyway, glad to have you guys on tonight. We love doing these podcasts. Tonight is going to be a very interesting one. We are going to be covering the Deadpool Wolverine trailer, which just dropped a couple days ago. Very exciting. And also the NFL draft, which is currently just finished.
Talking about you being drafted by the NFL.
Night 2 with rounds 2 and 3, but everyone's definitely talking about last night, round 1. So we will cover that. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and get started with our first topic, Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. So anyway, we can't really show the trailer because we would probably get kicked off of here if we show the trailer.
We wouldn't get kicked off of here. It's just that for those of us that are watching, or for those that are watching out there, we do like to try to keep this somewhat family friendly because we as dads know that kids sometimes poke their heads in. So
yes, exactly. So the trailer just dropped. What was it? Monday, I believe, or Tuesday?
I think it was on Tuesday.
Yeah, it was Tuesday.
And I was really impressed by it. Loved seeing, Wolverine in his legendary yellow costume. and kind of got more of a storyline going on with this one versus the teaser trailer that dropped a couple months ago. Anyway, let's get started. Babo, what did you think about this trailer?
Loved it. I mean, there's no other way to
Cool.
put it. I think this, you know how I feel about Marvel right now, and I think that this is a good opportunity for Marvel to hopefully get on track. But I'm too afraid that this is just going to be a one-off. But I will say this does look pretty good. Now, I am curious to see how they're going to reconcile everything with Logan. But my understanding, supposedly, this is going to be sometime in between Days of Future Past and Logan. Or is this going to be like a multiverse Wolverine? So I'm curious to see what they do with this.
Okay, interesting. Derica, what did you think about it?
Love the trailer. My Hugh Jackman and I, with regards to Wolverine, it's more complicated than a Facebook status relationship. I've always. I felt like at one point, like I saw too much Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and I kind of started to it started to bother me. But most movies that he's in as Wolverine are pretty good. Maybe he's had some strikes here and there, but I'd say all in all, the majority of them have been enjoyable to watch. I'm sure this one will be no different. The fact that he has Deadpool next to him is only going to make this more entertaining. The good news about Deadpool within the Marvel universe right now is that it's been kind of left alone. Ryan Reynolds has just kind of been able to do his own thing. So I'm hoping it's going to stay that way, as Bob was talking about. And Deadpool is its own little entity, and now Wolverine gets to be a part of it. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. So count me in.
Well, I do think that they're going to include some stuff from the MCU, of course. I mean, they've been showing that in the trailers. But like you said, I think the way they're going to do it is that Deadpool's kind of its own, like that he's in a different multiverse or a different universe. And so I think that's kind of the direction they're going to go. But the trailer looks good.
I agree. I agree with both of you. I love the trailer. And again, I'd love seeing Hugh Jackman in the traditional yellow Wolverine costume. I actually feel that Deadpool and Wolverine are kind of like Derek and I, where I'm Deadpool and Derek is Wolverine, and he's just annoyed by my existence.
Yeah.
Shut up!
Oh my God. Why do I moderate? Why do I really? I mean, this is ridiculous. Okay. I am tired, and you're sitting there.
You're tired?
Well, we're tired. Look, I wouldn't have done that if you hadn't said, well, I'm Deadpool and he's Wolverine.
No.
What, were you jealous? Were you jealous?
Heck no.
But anyway, I just think, obviously it's going to be full of cameos. And
yes.
I am curious what'll happen, if it will be part of the MCU or if they're going to go on their own path. It comes out in July, so we have, some months to wait. But I'm excited. I've been waiting for this, and Ryan Reynolds has hinted for many years about getting Hugh Jackman in there, and he finally got him in there. So,
did you ever finally see Logan, Josh?
No, I did not. Did you see it there?
That was a good one. Yeah, I did.
I really should see it.
That's actually the best X-Men film that's out there.
I stumbled upon it randomly on like a Saturday afternoon when nobody was home. It was not like during the peak season of sports, so you're sitting there just flipping channels, and I said Logan had just started, and I'm like, man, I didn't leave the couch. I was very comfortable where I was watching that film.
Who was the girl in it?
Oh, the little one, like the little girl.
Yeah, I mean the one who was with him, right?
Yeah, speaking Spanish, right?
Yeah, she's basically his daughter. Well, what was she, like a clone, actually?
Yeah, technically.
So,
yes.
So yeah, she's supposed to be Wolverine. Like they used his DNA to make her.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. But
and then of course Patrick Stewart is awesome in that.
Yeah, he's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're like the only two left. I mean, well, they're not the only two mutants. Like really, the relationship is like only with like regards to the two of them trying to figure things out. It's pretty.
And it was done very well.
Yeah, it was.
I still love the funny line in the original Deadpool when they talk about we're going to go see the professor, and he goes McAvoy or Stewart, which would be cool in this one if both of them are in it. But no, I'm excited for it,
I think they're gonna throw everything but the kitchens. Well, they'll probably even throw that
including the kitchen sink.
Yeah, they're gonna throw everything into this because
Yeah.
they really need to do something. Marvel is hurting, and this is going to give them an opportunity to get back on track.
The true story is that Ryan Reynolds, it took him like 11 years just to make the first one.
I remember, yeah.
They kept shelving it because they're like, we don't get it. And Ryan Reynolds kept being like, I'm going to make you get it. Please just let me do it. And he would not give up. So good on him for not giving up.
Well, that's because of that abomination that they gave us initially in X-Men Origins.
Oh God, that's right. Yeah, what was that about? That was not good.
Good question. We're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
that is not good.
I have no idea what they were doing on that.
Let me ask you this, Bob. You're a numbers guy. Do you think Deadpool and Wolverine will hit $1 billion at the box office?
It's going to depend on that first weekend as far as okay, so movies tend to make a third of their box office draw in that first weekend. So we'll have a pretty good idea with that first weekend. Also, you're looking at word of mouth because that also factors into it as well. If the word of mouth is bad, then the films just don't tend to have the legs that they need to hit that billion. Do I think it's possible? Yeah, this could be Marvel's first $1 billion project since Spider-Man.
Guardians didn't make $1 billion or made 8 something, right?
Yeah, it fell short. And that sucks because I do think Guardians 3 was pretty good. But the problem that it had is that it had a bad opening weekend. And, well, I shouldn't say bad. I mean, it still made over $100 million, but it was bad by Marvel standards. But the difference is it had very good legs. And that's why it was able to do what it did. It had really good word of mouth. So we'll see what Deadpool does. Do I think that it could hit $1 billion? Yeah, the pieces are there. Let's put it that way. And if the cameos are done well and the story is fun, then it should hit it. I don't see why not.
What do you think, Derek? You think it'll hit $1 billion?
$1 billion's asking a lot. I don't know if Marvel's got the chops to do that right now. I think the next time Marvel's capable of maybe hitting $1 billion is probably their next Avengers movie. Till then, I don't see it. But I don't
know.
I don't even know if the next Avengers movie will do it. I mean,
that's what I think. This would hit it before the next Avengers movie.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. You guys may have a point with all this where the cameos are going to be so great and they're going to throw everything and the kitchen sink at it. But $1 billion,
I think it's possible.
It's possible. Yeah. Possible. Yes. Probable. I don't know.
I'm going to give you guys a number, and I don't know if I'm way too low on this number, and you can tell me if I am. 750 million. Am I low or higher?
I'm going to give the over on that. I think this could easily do. I'm going to say this could do over 800 million. I'm thinking that it will hit the $1 billion, but it's going to depend on how good it is. If it's not very good, I think it'll make over 800 million. If it's good and it has that good word of mouth, it'll make over $1 billion. It's just going to depend on how good it is. But I do think that it'll make over 800 million. I don't see why it won't. Deadpool has been a pretty successful franchise, and then you're bringing Wolverine into that.
Right.
I was going to say.
What do you think?
825.
I think it's going to. I think we'd be close to $1 billion.
25 is not far off from it, to be fair.
Yeah.
I just don't know what cameos could get. Like, for example, when Spider-Man came out, and Bobby and I talked about this all the time, was that, okay, you're going to have Tobey Maguire in there. You're going to have and Andrew Garfield in there. And that should help it. And sure enough, it did. With this movie, who do we bring? I've heard about, what's her name who played Jean Grey could be in it. And
Inga Jensen. I think is her name.
yeah, and I'm sure a ton of others. So,
But
I
here's
don't
what
know.
you're forgetting, Josh. Spider-Man: No Way Home was good. That's the difference. It had a good word of mouth.
I know.
Yeah, that having Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and all of that helps opening weekend. That's what gets people in the seats. But it's the good story and the proper use of nostalgia that kept people going back to see it a second and a third time and getting
Right.
everybody else to go see it week 2 or 3. Because those that don't go see it week 1 are like waiting to see what people think. There's a lot of people out there who wait to see what people think.
Yeah, I agree.
It'll get big press just because of the comedy element too. The fact that they aim to make people laugh in Deadpool will go a long way.
I agree. Yeah.
But I will say, I think this has a better chance of hitting $1 billion than the next Avengers movie. I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, come on, look at the lineup of Avengers.
I know. It's
And then they haven't done anything to really develop those characters. So
no, they asked the Russo brothers today, do you think Robert Downey Jr. will come back? And they said, how is he going to come back? Like
that's a great question. We talked about
created
that,
a great ending for him. And how do you think he's going to come back? So I don't know. Anyway, anything else you guys would like to talk about the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer?
Let's go see it. July, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, it'll be
fun.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right, let's get on to our second topic. As you all know, the NFL draft started.
I want my picks back, and I want David Putney.
Yes. Love that movie. One of my favorite movies, actually.
That's a great movie.
God.
Fontaine Mac or bust.
Yes, so good. I have that movie. So good. So anyway, last night the NFL draft started in Detroit, Michigan. Had 250,000 people. Was really amazing. Go Detroit. As we all know, guys, we round 1. Whew, very interesting.
250,000 people.
Yeah, we're at the place. You didn't know that?
I don't think that building can hold that many people.
Yeah.
No.
We're talking
it was outside.
It was outside?
Yeah, you guys didn't see it? That whole entrance that was there. It was crazy.
250,000 though?
Would you like me to check? Here, I will let you guys know
now. I'm not saying that you're wrong. That sounds pretty high.
How many fans?
You don't have to say the words when you're typing.
Notice he doesn't put his phone on silent, so I hear.
275,000.
I still don't buy that.
We're outside.
Yep. Just read it. Anyway, the biggest, couple things that happened last night. Caleb Williams from USC went number 1 overall, which we, I think, all expected, going to the Chicago Bears, who had traded their apparent star quarterback to Justin Fields to Pittsburgh. So we knew they were going after a quarterback. And then Jalen Daniels going to the Washington Commanders at number 2. And Drake May going to New England at number 3. Let's go ahead and get started. Derico, thoughts of round 1 of the NFL draft?
Yeah, there was. I can't say that anything was big time surprising, but it was still interesting watching everybody, make the rounds as they did. I mean, congratulations to Caleb Williams. I think he'll have an interesting challenge ahead of him in Chicago. I think he's got a lot of help, which is great. As Bob was, saying in the thread there of the text chain, he listed out that offense, and on paper that looks pretty strong. So I'm hoping that Caleb can keep up with it. That's where rubber's going to have to meet the road. And then, oh gosh, it was we just said his name, Jaden Daniels, heading to Washington, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's good because I don't know if anything's going to be able to help Washington ever in my life, but at least they got something they could try.
I agree.
Drake May, same thing for the Patriots. They're looking to kind of rebuild all together here. So I think that was a good overall pick. I think we had 6 QBs go within like the first 15, didn't we?
Yes, it was crazy. And, I didn't even mention Marvin Harrison Jr. going to Arizona, which is, was a great pick by them to help Kyle Murray. So that should be interesting. Bobo, what do you think about or go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say one more thing. Arizona walked away with some talent, yesterday. So good on them for making some good choices. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, real quick on Caleb Williams. Was he a senior or did he come out as an underclassman?
He came out as an underclassman. He was
the hell with school, dopey. Take the money.
Take the money, dopey.
Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Boucher. So what were you gonna say? See, you get everybody all.
Yeah, what I liked. Arizona. You mentioned they got some talent, and if we're talking just the first round, to me, I think. You can't talk enough about what the Bears did. I like the fact that they had Caleb Williams and then turned around and got. How do you pronounce his last name? Or Odunze?
Yeah, from Washington. Yeah.
Yeah, good Lord, that's going to be one heck of a team, assuming that on paper again, that they look great, assuming they can actually, follow through with it. I think that's going to be one heck of a football team.
Don't they have DeAndre Swift now?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
And then they already have DJ Moore.
That's how you build a team.
They got firepower.
And Keenan Allen.
Wow.
Getting Keenan Allen's on that team.
That's right. That's a team.
Well, now,
that is a very talented team.
So Chicago made some big moves, but so did Minnesota as well. So
yes,
did I kind of was thinking that? Chicago's making some great moves now, but it's not like Minnesota were slouches out of this, snagging in and getting JJ McCarthy the way they did.
That was amazing. They said, who was it? The coach O'Connell was very excited about getting McCarthy. We'll see how he is. The guy is a winner.
I think he's
played
talented.
Very well in college. He's got a good arm. I'm, very curious what he can do. Oh God, and like Bob said, and you said it too, Derek. The whole draft first part, everybody was like, "Okay, we understand this was going to happen this way." Then the Atlanta Falcons came calling, folks, at number 8, and everyone was like, "Oh, maybe they'll take Dallas Turner, from Alabama on defense. Maybe they could take a receiver. We're not sure because, as everybody knows out there in TV land, they signed Mr. Money, Kirk Cousins, in the
You make this deal right now, Tom, and you get Bo Callahan. Say it with me.
Say it with me.
Anyway, you always do it when I'm in the middle of talking.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Why would we do it any other place? That's the place that makes most sense.
And so everyone, with Kirk Cousins signing a huge 4-year deal, everyone's like, no, Atlanta's not going to take a quarterback.
Well, why would they?
Guess what?
And then they did.
And then they did. Michael Penix Jr. from Washington went to the Atlanta Falcons, and we were all scratching our heads Bobby and I, who have been watching this for many, many, many years, and are like, huh? And Derek, who just started really getting into football, is like, huh? Like, what do you, and they didn't even tell Kirk Cousins until right before they were making the pick.
Do you guys hear that? That's the sound
that?
That's the sound of the Atlanta defense crumbling.
I don't get this.
Before your
Someone,
eyes.
please, Bob, explain this pick to me. Shed some light on it.
All right. Well, on paper, taking a talent like Penix, if assuming he's everything that they're building him up to be, and he sure looked the part in college, I can understand why you would pick him if you need a quarterback or you're looking to build a quarterback for the future. Where it doesn't make sense is that you just signed a $180 million contract with Kirk Cousins. That's what I'm not understanding. Like, don't get me wrong. When they're on the rookie contract, it's even with first rounders, it's not that bad as opposed to $180 million contract. So it's clear that Kirk Cousins is going to be the guy. You're not paying him that type of money if he's not going to be the guy. The issue that I have is that now if they so much as struggle a little bit, you're going to start having the fans calling for this rookie quarterback because
looking over their shoulder.
You don't draft a guy in the first round as far as the quarterback goes and him not see the field for several years. Yeah, there's the exception, like a Jordan Love or something like that. But that he was sitting behind, Aaron Rodgers. We're not talking Kirk Cousins. As much as I like him and I think he's an extremely talented quarterback, he's not Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
So they so much as struggle a little bit. I don't see how the fan base doesn't turn on him and start calling for Penix. It to me, a move like that almost makes it seem like you don't believe in Kirk Cousins. But if you don't believe in him, why the heck are you paying him $180 million? Just that's what doesn't make sense. Like I said, on paper, the talent that you're selecting, that makes sense. But it doesn't make sense because you just got the guy that supposedly is going to be your quarterback and you're paying him a fortune.
Yep. Derek, what do you think? Are we wrong?
No, none of it's wrong. I mean, the only way I could think to make sense of this is that the management or leadership of the Falcons think that they can get to a Super Bowl with quarterback power and not much more. And they think they've got now not one, but two aces to help them do that. The problem is if you're going to pay all this money to, that top level, everything, other things are going to suffer, which is why I was talking about the defense there. Because now, where's your money going to go with what little you have left? So that's the only way that I could try to make sense as to what they're looking to do.
My thing is, if they were going to go offense, why the heck didn't they select another wide receiver to play opposite Drake London? Because you already have Bijan Robinson, you got Kyle Pitts, you got Drake London. Why do you not turn around and take another wide receiver to play opposite Drake London? Because then you've got several weapons for Kirk Cousins to work with. And we've seen that Kirk Cousins, when he's got weapons, he can get it done. Like Kirk Cousins wasn't the problem in Minnesota. He's not the reason that they couldn't get over that hump.
He got injured. Too.
Yeah, but even then, the year before, when they did make the playoffs and they won the division, he wasn't. He was a big part of their success, but their defense was extremely bad. Yep. That was a problem.
It sounds like it's going to be the same situation for Kirk Cousins in the South as it was the North. So
could be.
At least he's getting paid.
I'm about to throw something out there that we have not discussed. Nobody knows that we've not discussed any of this. But am I wrong? Could they be trying to run a 2-quarterback system?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Why would they run a 2-quarterback system?
I don't know. Why would you pay him that much money and then draft a quarterback?
Penix is not a runner or something like that. Usually, when you're running a a 2-quarterback system, it's because you have 2 different style of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Penix is going to be a pocket passer.
It doesn't make sense. Did you guys hear what Rich Eisen said today? It was so funny. He's like, all right, so they have Kirk Cousins. They drafted Penix. Who are they going to draft tonight? Spencer Rattler? To start in 10 years? I mean, it's like so ridiculous. Nobody can figure it out. Everyone's like, huh? What? Like they said, that's even the mock drafts, Derek. Nobody in their right mind had them picking up a quarterback after they traded Justin Fields. Or, I mean, not Justin Fields. After they did get Justin Fields and they got Kirk Cousins.
No, everybody. That's the thing is that out of all the teams who needed quarterbacks, this was certainly not one of them.
No, it's like what Bob said. You take a receiver. You have Drake
because
London.
like I said,
or at least a running back. You know,
no, they don't even need a running back. They have
because you have Bijan Robinson. You have Algier's still there, right?
Yeah, Algier's there. Patterson, is it Patterson?
But I don't know if Patterson's still there.
No, he left.
But you have Algier.
Yes, Algier is still there.
So you got a 1-2 combination of running backs.
All right. What about
stacked?
You got Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts.
Oh,
that's Kyle Pitts.
That's right. Okay, so then the wide receiver really is the best call for him.
That's what I'm saying. If you were gonna go offense, that would have made more sense.
Who did they get rid of? Scotty Miller and Hollins? Did they leave Atlanta?
Yeah, Hollins is gone.
Hollins is gone.
So yeah, they have no deep.
Hollins went to Buffalo, right?
Did he?
That sounds right.
I think he went to
Matt
Buffalo.
Collins? I don't know. It just maybe you're right. I think because after Diggs left and all those guys left, and Gabriel. But yeah, anyway, just I don't know what they're doing. Don't understand it.
So here's a question. Here's a question. Okay, so we all agree that the pick, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Do you think he sees the field this year?
Yeah.
My guess is is no, unless Kirk Cousins gets hurt.
I mean,
because
he's coming back from a torn ACL.
Somebody $180 million if you're not going to let him see the field.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing about this, though. Maybe they're anticipating Kirk Cousins is going to get hurt. Maybe they don't have a lot of, maybe they maybe have a faith in a lot of his playing ability when he's there, and they want another option if he's not.
Could be.
I mean, maybe that's what this is, but I would say I think he'll see a little. I don't think he'll see a lot, but I think he'll see a little bit of field this year. Not too much. Him and his fingers.
I know.
Sorry.
At least put it on silent, man.
Let your thumbs do the talking this episode.
Oh yeah. What are you drinking, Derek? It always looks. Is that A&W?
Zero sugar.
Ooh, we're getting old, gentlemen. We gotta drink the zero sugar now.
Speaking of which, one moment, please.
All right.
You guys want hot dogs?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're good.
So as Derek gets back, and I'm about to have some water. Thank you. See, I didn't leave. Anyway,
he's a little parched. Let
me have some more water.
What do you at the UN? Come on with it.
Thank you. Anyway, the other pick that it was very interesting today that I was actually excited about.
Hold on, we're not on today.
No, yesterday. Sorry.
Okay, I was going to say.
I did watch the video. I apologize.
Jeez, man.
And I'm curious your opinions on this. Bo Nix getting drafted in this round to Denver. I was listening today to oh my God, I just lost his. I see his. Who was the one, Bob? Not Mel Kiper. The other. Oh, Todd McShay was on some sort of podcast. Completely blasted the pick. Said he's a backup at best, which shocks me because I don't know if you saw him play, Derek. Bobby and I saw him play. I like the pick. Like, I think he's going to be great in that Sean Payton offense. slugging it out.
Yeah,
Kind of reminds me a little bit, right, about Drew
Yeah.
Brees. What do you
Yeah,
guys think
I
about
think
that?
I think he's fine.
Yeah.
I don't put a whole lot into what McShay or any of them say, to be honest. How many times have they
Yeah.
been wrong?
Oh, a lot. A
No,
lot.
he's got that arm strength that Sean Payton's gonna love. So
Yeah.
from what I saw, I mean, I think it's a fine pick. And Denver's needed some type of what should be considered a faithful option quarterback wise for a while. They have not seen
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah, they haven't seen anybody since Peyton Manning, right?
pretty
since
much.
2015.
So I'm not.
Crazy.
It's going back to the movie Draft Day. I feel a lot like Dennis Leary. It's just the coach. I don't like rookie quarterbacks. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they get into a position like maybe Aaron Rodgers did with Brett Favre, where, but that's rare, right? You're going to get the rookie quarterback to just sit there and take in all the knowledge. And when Aaron Rodgers did that, I think that was a very rare case where even a guy who's been there for 4 years and maybe he's been learning for 4 years, that doesn't mean you see a whole lot of field. So Aaron Rodgers was
Right.
natural. I don't know if that's going to be the same way for a guy like Penix. And who knows what's going to happen with Bo Nix, but at least they have something that they could try to work with, which Denver's needed for quite some time. So I'm happy for him on that level.
Bob, anything? I mean, you watched him as much as I did from the time he was at Auburn and then at Oregon.
I like the pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't put a whole lot of faith into what McShay and all of them say. And I'm not saying that they don't know their job, but just
He wins. He won at Oregon.
How many times have they been wrong? I mean, and then times. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, you can be right on these guys, but really, when it comes down to it, we're just guessing when it comes to all these guys. Like nobody in their right mind would have expected Brock Purdy to turn around and be such a good quarterback. I mean, come on.
Nobody would have. I mean, we saw him at Iowa State.
Yeah, but no, he looked good at Iowa State, but that's the thing. Nobody would have thought he was nobody thought he was the next, starting quarterback for the 49ers, especially when he's drafted in the same draft or not the same draft, but he's behind Trey Lance. I mean, nobody expected that. So, you just never know what's gonna happen. I happen to like Nix. I think he's an extremely accurate quarterback. I think he's got a strong arm. And I do think that Peyton can work with him and help him grow. I don't understand what McShay wanted him to do. If you look, okay, even if you say that, it wasn't the best pick. Okay, what other quarterback would they have taken? Like Derek said, they've had a revolving door at quarterback for quite some time now.
Yeah.
They need somebody steady at quarterback. So
who was left? Long-term investment.
Who was left?
Not mine.
That at least that you would consider first round material.
First round material? Nobody.
That was
there was nobody left. Now, I'm not saying that obviously you don't have to be a first rounder to turn around and be a great quarterback in the NFL. I mean, but the whole point of you drafting somebody in the first round is because you think they're going to be the guy.
Yeah.
So
I'm actually looking right now who are remaining.
Well, the next one is Spencer Rattler. He's the next highest rated one.
Is he? And then who's after Rattler? Why am I?
I don't know.
You know who we haven't mentioned, Bob?
Who?
Hartman.
Yeah, maybe.
Hartman from Notre Dame and Wake Forest. Sam Hartman.
I didn't see real convinced on that.
No. Here's the thing. Josh will tell you. I actually think Hartman's a pretty good quarterback. In fact, I remember telling Josh that when they went over to Notre Dame, I thought that was actually better for him because it was more a style of system that's run by the NFL as opposed to what Wake Forest runs. So I actually think that was a good move for him. I just don't know, ultimately how he'll do. I don't see him going ahead of, say, Bo Nix.
No, but guess one of Bobby's favorite quarterbacks is on the board, Jordan Travis.
I love Jordan Travis. Unfortunately, Jordan Travis has a couple of issues. Biggest thing is his size. He's a little bit smaller, and that makes him a little more injury prone.
Yeah,
and I love him to death because he's one of the biggest reasons why Florida State got back on the map. Guy's a tremendous athlete.
He'll
Good
still
speed, good
go.
arm, accurate.
Yeah, he'll still go. It'll just, it's going to be a little later.
Yeah.
Not
Agreed.
Brock Purdy
The
later.
biggest thing that hurt him was the injury because that caused some teams to turn around and stay off of him.
What was the injury? I hate to bring up that.
He had a real bad
knee.
break. Yeah.
Knee. Okay. Yeah. Ugh. That's rough.
I've got somebody else I just thought about as we were talking. Derek might not like this, but I'm going to mention it anyway. Brock Bowers going to the Raiders at tight end from Georgia.
I was wondering about that one, especially because they already have Mayer. Now, I think Bowers better.
Oh, he's much better, I think. Derek,
what
do you think?
That's good, but the problem for the Raiders is that speaking of quarterbacks, do they still know who theirs is?
No, but you know what? I thought they were going to take a quarterback. I was kind of shocked.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah.
Well, who was left? That's first round material.
Bradley would have been it. So it would have been. I don't know. It would have been better than nothing.
They could still take a quarterback, but it's not going to. No. But there was nobody left who was first round material.
First round? No, you're right. Oh well.
By the way, I don't know if you guys heard this in terms of college. Arizona State got busted this week and is on probation.
Good.
Did you guys hear about this? And Antonio Pierce from the Raiders was on that coaching regime with Herm Edwards. Okay. And, people are just, I don't know, just something that I thought was, interesting. I still like him for the Raiders. I think Mark Davis did a great job.
He fits in perfect with the Raiders.
I know,
He's
right?
He's a rule breaker. So he fits in perfect with their culture.
Yeah. But Brock Bowers is a great player. Is he, Bob, in your opinion, kind of like Kelsey, receiver / tight end, or all tight end?
I think he's got the ability to be that.
Got it.
So we'll see. Real quick, you mentioned who they got at quarterback, or I actually kind of liked Aiden O'Connell last year. I thought he did just fine. And then who else did they pick up? They picked up somebody else.
The Raiders?
Yes, they did. Oh my God, who did they pick up? Oh God, I started thinking. Yeah, no. In pre-agency, they picked up someone. At first, I was going to say Mason Rudolph, but it isn't Mason.
No,
he's at Tennessee.
That's Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on.
Oh, Minshew.
Thank you. See, I mean, he could start. He could start and play.
I like Minshew. I like Minshew. I think
I do too.
He can play, but actually, I'd give Aiden O'Connell another year. I kind of liked what I saw from him last year. The team rallied around him. They rallied around the coach.
Yeah. No, they did. They did, and we'll see what happens this year. I'm trying to think of anyone in first round. My Fins ended up taking an offensive lineman. Not offensive lineman. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of tonight. They ended up taking Chop Robinson from Penn State, defensive tackle, which we definitely needed after getting rid of Wilkinson and everybody else on the defense. Derek, you want to talk about your Niners a little bit?
Yeah, Mr. Ricky Pearsall, out of Florida. Sorry, Bob.
No, you're good. That's fine.
He's not Florida anymore.
Look, I'm not going to sit there and say that the guy can't play. I saw that guy torch us, even though we beat them those years, so it's fine with me.
Was he that? I don't remember him, Bob. Was he that?
Oh God, yeah.
He's
not this season, but last season. He ended up scoring, I think it was 3 touchdowns against us.
Yeah.
I mean,
he had this unbelievable one-handed catch. You can go back and find it. It's unreal. I was watching him last night. He's perfect. I was telling Josh this earlier. He's perfect for a Shanahan offense. Perfect. He's awesome route runner. He has no problem blocking, which is what Shanahan will love. And he's a yards after catch guy. Shanahan loves all those things, so he fits in very well with that scheme. So I thought it was a good pick for the first round for sure, because we do need more offensive weapons. We're starting to, 1, get a little old, and 2, trying to figure out who to keep around and pay. And right now it looks like IU could be going out the door. But
well, I was going to ask you about that, Derek, because I didn't know. I heard a rumor today, either Ayuk or Debo getting traded. What are your thoughts on that?
they'll keep Debo before they keep Ayuk.
Really?
Yeah, because Debo can play both wide receiver.
Yeah, he can go around. Yeah.
And Ayuk, I mean, he's been doing an incredible job playing with Purdy. Purdy's made some he's made some catches that have been very, very awesome. But I think in terms of value, it's probably Debo over Ayuk. They'll try to keep Debo with a lot of money. They're going to take that money and give it to Debo before they'll extend Ayuk's contract, I think.
I like the pick. I really do.
Yeah, it's a good choice. Good choice.
And
you
know,
go ahead, Josh.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the other pick I really liked was Xavier Worthy to Kansas City.
That's what I was about to mention.
I thought we were going to get him. Darn it.
He's a great from Texas, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great player.
Really
great player.
Really good.
Because here's the thing. You look at Kansas City. They need a wide receiver badly. Now, last year, Rashee Rice really started to step up towards the end of the season. And so I think you got some talent there. And then you bring in another young wide receiver in Worthy, who's got a lot of speed.
Right.
Kelsey, we don't know how much longer Kelsey's got.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's still good.
No, he's still good, but he's got other priorities right now.
Yes. Don't make the Swifties mad. Do not make the Swifties mad. I don't want that.
Hey, I'm just saying he's got other priorities.
Yeah.
Priorities.
What about the Rams, Bob? Taking actually, and I don't want to step ahead, so I won't. But last night, taking one of your Seminole players.
That's first choice.
Okay, I think the world of Jared Verse, and I'll actually talk a little bit more about this when we get to the second round. Okay, because I like what they're doing.
Yeah, and Bob sent me highlights last night of Verse, Derek, and God, good.
Well, I sent it to both of you.
Both.
Yeah, because if you look, he's got a couple of segments where he's literally pushing the offensive tackle into the quarterback, and that's how they sacked the quarterback, because the offensive lineman literally knocked over the quarterback because Verse was just pushing him so hard. I mean, that's a grown man play.
That's good stuff. And that was actually a very good team for him to go to.
I'll get into that one a little bit more when we get into the second round.
Let me see. So we did that.
Oh, and then what's his name? I just saw it. Brian Thomas Jr. over to Jacksonville. I like that because a lot of
that wide receiver.
Malik Neighbors got all of the highlights, or I shouldn't say all the highlights, but he was getting like all the accolades, and everybody was constantly talking about him. But Brian Thomas Jr. actually had more touchdown receptions. And his yardage, he was over 1,000-yard wide receiver too. I forget.
And the Jaguars got rid of Calvin Ridley, so they put in.
I want to see what his. Yeah, he had 17 touchdown receptions last year for LSU.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm trying to.
Did anybody else get taken from Florida State in round one, or was that the only one?
No, he was the only one.
Yeah.
He was the only one, and then I guess we'll talk a little bit about the Jets. We didn't know if they would go receiver or what they would do, and they ended up going offensive line, I guess, as Bobby would say, to protect Rodgers, to protect Aaron Rodgers. Derrico, you don't seem happy about that?
It doesn't matter what you do with that team. It doesn't matter.
And let's say it. Let's say it, everyone. Why? Because they're the Jets.
Jets. Fail.
Oh my God! Did you ever hear my impression, Derek? Bobby loves it. He'll lie to the end of the moon about it, but he actually loves it. When you have the Jets come out, it's Monday Night Football. It's the anniversary of 9/11. You have them in their new uniforms, and here comes Aaron Rodgers with the American flag, and it's like apple pie. And he goes out and he tears his Achilles tendon, and what do we say? They're the Jets.
It's just that it happened like on the fourth play. I mean,
They're the Jets.
he hadn't even completed a pass yet.
No.
I don't think he even
season-
attempted a pass, did he?
His season lasted 2 minutes.
He had more passes in preseason than he did in the regular season.
Ugh.
They got him some help.
I'm not rooting for injury here. I swear I'm not.
Yeah.
But
I'm not.
It is
I'm really
ironic,
not.
though. That's for
I
sure.
know. No, yeah, fate is not without a sense of irony for sure.
God, who else?
Yeah,
Well, Xavier Leggett to Carolina, I thought was decent.
Yeah, that they traded into the first round, which I was curious. Remember, Bob, we talked about that because they had nothing.
Well, here's the thing. They would have picked first in the second round, right?
Correct.
Because
Yeah.
So they would have still gotten one of the wide receivers that they
Yeah.
wanted. They must have really wanted Leggett and thought that Buffalo would take him at the spot.
I guess. I like Coleman from Florida State. I would have taken Coleman over Leggett.
I love Coleman. I think Coleman, yeah, he put up some good highlights this year. The biggest knock on Coleman was his 40 time, but some of the other drills, when it came to him having to break routes and stuff like that, his speed was actually faster than a lot of the other wide receivers. So, I thought Coleman was a great play, or a great pick. So I think he would have been fine too. So I don't see why they traded, because I think Leggett or Coleman would have been fine for them. Now I think it worked out better for Buffalo, and we'll get to that again when we get to the second round. But yeah, I still like the pick though.
Where did Leggett go to college?
Oh, shoot. South Carolina.
That's right. Okay. That's right. All right. And then let me see. The Lions.
They went
Trying to
secondary.
remember.
They went Terry
They did.
and Arnold
Yeah.
out of Alabama, which is a good
That's
pick.
right. Another Bama. Yes, a very good player.
Yeah.
Did you see the kid, Derek, who went from Toledo? Where did he go? Oh God. Bob, do you know where he
Quinion
went?
Mitchell? Quinion Mitchell, the cornerback, right? Going to the Eagles?
Yes. And Nick Saban.
Yes, to the Eagles.
He's, I guess, now on College Game Day now. And Nick Saban was like, we begged him to transfer to Alabama, and he wouldn't. He said, I want to stay at Toledo.
All right. Well,
so that should be good for their secondary. Was a little surprised, Derek, you and I were texting during this. I thought, and Bob, I hadn't talked to you about this, I thought they were going to replace Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, well, a lot of people thought
that was, well, they still, I mean,
they will, but
yeah, they will. I mean, that's probably not too far away. But yeah, I was surprised they went the cornerback route to start. They needed one, so it wasn't like it was a bad choice. But
yeah, because their defense was really bad against the pass last year.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So
now
they need some steps up.
Yeah, they do need a good center. Don't get me wrong. For that push. That
I know
need somebody to push that line forward. So don't get me wrong. They do need a good center, but at the end of the day, their pass defense was terrible last year. So
no, it was bad.
We'll get into this later.
That.
We'll get into this later on day 2, but they kept that theme going. Actually, the Eagles did.
They did.
Yeah.
They're like, it was so bad, we're just going to make all our picks that. I can't blame you.
They did. All right, guys. Anything else with round 1, or should we dive into round 2/3?
Just the biggest winners and losers from round 1.
Okay. Derek, you go ahead.
The biggest winners, I will start off with the general manager of the Chicago Bears. They're going to make sure his office is big after that. I can't remember his name, but he's gonna get the penthouse office because he made that team look very good and is making.
I want my picks back, and I want David Putney.
Yeah, he looked pretty good right there.
I want my picks back, all of them.
All of them.
So I thought that he walked away smelling like a rose. I think Jim Harbaugh got some pretty big wins from his first round pick, because if we know anything about Harbaugh, he's going to want that team tough. And oh gosh, Joe Alt is certainly going to do that.
Yeah.
So Harbaugh likes a physical game. He's going to get physical. So I think he walked out a winner. I thought Kirk Cousins walked out a winner and a loser, because it's going to be probably not the most ideal situation being in Atlanta, but he's going to get his money. He's going to get paid out to go somewhere else. You watch this, Josh. I think I told this to you. Watch his final year be with the San Francisco 49ers, because they won't sign Brock Purdy to a long-term deal. Watch. We'll pay him.
Wow. That guy's made so much money, Derek. It's crazy when you go back and look at how much he's made.
And then I will also say I want to give a shout-out to Minnesota because of the J.J. McCarthy move. That was a pretty slick move there. So I think those are my biggest ones out of night one. I'll hand it over to you guys.
Derek, Bobo.
Present.
So, okay, it's easy to say that the biggest winners are the Chicago Bears, which I really think that they are. So I'm going to go pivot a little different and say another big winner. I like Xavier Worthy to the Kansas City Chiefs. I really think that's a good fit because he's got a lot of speed. And again, you mix him into that offense. I think that that's really good. And I'm still not 100% sure on the Giants, but I do like Malik Neighbors going there. I know a lot of people were thinking, well, they need to go quarterback, but when I kind of heard the explanation that you took the opportunity to go ahead and shore up the team, and because maybe Daniel Jones has missed a lot of football over the last couple of years, so if he can stay healthy, maybe they still have something there. If they don't shore up the other positions, then even a quarterback that they would have drafted, they would turn around and put him right into another bad situation. So this gives them the opportunity to shore up some of the other positions and then see what Daniel Jones is. And if it doesn't work out this year, they can go a different direction. Because in all fairness to Daniel Jones, it's not like he's had a whole lot of help at the wide receiver position.
No,
Right.
So I got to give him that. Okay. And then I do like Harrison to the Arizona Cardinals. So that's another winner for me.
Yeah, I was going to say the Cardinals' leadership deserves some rounds of applause.
Yeah, and
they walked away with some good talent.
Yeah. And then so a loser, I'm only going to go with one, and that's Kirk Cousins. He's the biggest. Because again, the reason I say he's the biggest loser is because, again, you're paying him a heck of a lot of money, and he should be the starting quarterback. But because they drafted a quarterback in the first round, that's going to put it in a position where if they start to struggle even just a little bit, the fan base and maybe even the general manager are going to start turning around trying to say, hey, let's give this other guy a shot. So I could see that happening. Now, I don't think it will, but it's a possibility. So I'm going to say Kirk Cousins is the biggest loser.
I forgot to give my losers. Sorry about that.
No, you did.
Well, I think I said that. Oh, I did? Okay. Never mind.
You said Cousins. Who else?
Well, the Atlanta defense is going to be the second piece of that because they're not going to have any money to pay that off. And I will also say, I wasn't totally impressed with what Seattle did yesterday. I thought they would go a little bit
really?
More. Yeah. I thought, defensive tackle, okay, but I don't know. I thought they would have made a bigger move than that. And then I would still go with the Raiders only because they still don't know who their quarterback is. And I'm not saying that it's the draft's problem for that, but I would have thought that something could have happened on that level. Maybe it still can. But if they still don't know, I don't know what – I mean, just not sure. It's the Raiders. What are you going to do? God love them. That's it.
Okay. I agree with both of you. As biggest winner, Chicago. You know, Bob and I love using this term, Derek, as you can tell on paper. They should go deep into the playoffs. They should compete with Detroit.
Should.
Really should, based on you
Should.
can't have that much talent. And, you know, if they don't, their coach is going bye-bye.
Well, a lot's going to depend on how well Caleb Williams plays, because
I mean,
again, when they're drafting this guy that's supposedly a generational talent, they're hoping for CJ Stroud results. That's what they're hoping
Right.
for. Because
Correct.
if they don't get that this year, and let's say Fields goes off and has a field day in Pittsburgh, and because I don't know if Russell Wilson's going to make it out as the starting quarterback, but
no.
let's say Fields goes off in Pittsburgh, then yeah, you're going to have a fan base that's like, why the heck did we make the move? So, but I do think Caleb Williams is going to be fine.
I agree. And I also, the other two other teams I like, I agree about Marvin Harrison Jr. at Arizona. Excited to see how he does. Excuse me. Really like the J.J. McCarthy pick to Minnesota.
Yeah.
You know, I'm excited to see what he can do with Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Could be interesting. Again, I agree as far as the biggest losers. I mean, Kirk Cousin. And it's so funny because I don't know about you guys. It's almost, I feel at times contradicting myself because I've told you both in this day and age, you need two good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
If you think about it, I mean, you have Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. If something happens, you bring the other one in. And here I am saying, oh my God, they have Kirk Cousins. How dare they bring in Michael Penix Jr.?
Okay, but
You know?
you see, okay. The situation in Pittsburgh, though, is a different situation because they ended up with two quarterbacks that are easily starting quarterback material somewhere. Now, I don't think Russell Wilson's going to make it through. Just for some reason, I think Fields is going to end up the starting quarterback before the year is over. But you got two quarterbacks that, even, despite as bad as Wilson looked the last couple of years, he wasn't all their problems last year. And at the end of the day, he's still starting quarterback material somewhere. When you say you have two good quarterbacks, you're looking for a situation kind of like what Indianapolis had last year when they had Richardson, and then they had Minshew as the backup, because then when Richardson got hurt, Minshew was able to take over. Or like a situation this year, like in Cleveland, you've got Deshaun Watson, who for sure he's the starting quarterback. And you guys know I love me some Jameis Winston, but as much as I love Jameis Winston, he's going into there easily as the backup. He's not. They have no intention of benching Deshaun Watson. And I was actually explaining to Josh that I think that was a good pick or a good move for them, because Flacco did so well this year that if Watson did struggle, the fan base was going to turn around and start calling for Flacco, and they didn't want to give the reins over to a 39-year-old quarterback when they feel that Watson's the guy. Instead, you get a backup like Winston, who again is a former number one pick. That's a perfect situation of having two good quarterbacks, because Winston can easily come in and win some football games. So yeah, but Watson's the guy. That's what you're looking for. The situation that they got in Atlanta is a whole nother ball game now, because again, you're paying Kirk Cousins a heck of a lot of money, but you brought in a guy now in the first round that fans are going to be anticipating to see the field. And if Cousins struggles just a little bit, that's when the fan base can start asking for, Penix. So it's a whole different situation.
By the way, there was one other team who, in terms of a winner, who I think Daniel's going to Washington.
Yeah,
I think that might be good. I thought he was a great player. So I think if they build enough around him, I think they could be good.
I think they'll be good. I like Daniel.
But yeah, I'll say Kirk Cousins, because really everything else, I mean, look, you want me to think outside the box? The Giants. Maybe they should have taken a quarterback because of Daniel Jones. I don't know. Nobody else seems
but that goes
to.
back. But that goes back to Bob's point, though. You know, we don't really know what Daniel Jones can do because he hasn't had the
Right.
pieces to get him to the right place. So
Right.
that one could be just a matter of time. Now, if he plays this year and can't make anything happen with the talent
He's
that
done. He's
getting
done.
stuff, then that is done. That is it.
He's done.
Yeah.
He's got one more season to prove himself. That's all.
All right. So I think that was good. That was the first round. Let's move on to tonight. Round 2 and round 3 recap. One of the big things I saw was what's his name? Coleman going to the Buffalo Bills. The Bills traded with Carolina last night. They had the 33rd pick. We've talked about weeks earlier about the Bills getting rid of everyone. Boy, I think this is definitely going to help Josh Allen. I still think they have a lot of work to do. All right, Bob, since you're Mr. Florida State, let's hear you talk about this and anything else.
All right. So Keon Coleman going to Buffalo is a great pick. And the reason why I say it's a great pick is because they traded out of the first round to get him. And by doing that, you do not have to pay him a first round contract. And you still get the wide receiver that you wanted to get. Because you weren't going to get Harrison, you weren't going to get Neighbors, you weren't going to get Brian Thomas Jr. or some of these guys that went early in the draft. You weren't going to get them, but you could get a solid wide receiver. And by trading down, now you still got the guy you wanted, and you don't have to pay a first round contract. So I think that was really smart on Buffalo's part. And then I did say I wanted to talk a little bit more about Jared Verse when we got to the second round.
Right.
And that has to do with the Rams' second pick by taking Braden Fisk also from Florida State.
Yep,
because
right.
if you watch his game film, that guy is a beast on the interior line. So I think they just, they got two players there that can both contribute day one, possibly be starters. And that should help replace or help make up some of the loss that you're going to lose from not having Aaron Donald around. So I think that was a fantastic pick. And then I like what they did in the third round by taking Blake Corum.
Yeah.
So I like what the Rams are doing. So those were the ones that kind of stuck out to me. Just the fact that Buffalo traded down. Oh, and then to kind of keep with the theme, where we were talking about Arizona, with Marvin Harrison Jr., I like that they took Trey Benson also from Florida State in the third round because that's another solid guy. The guy had under a 4.40 or it was under a 4.440. And so he's a real speedster. The guy, I mean, he can move and he's strong. So I think that's a great pick. He can catch the football out of the backfield. And nowadays they go by committee anyway. So that helps take some of the pressure off of James Conner. So I think Arizona made some good moves.
All right. Derico, what do you think? I'm just looking at the recap right now, just seeing if there's anything that catches my eye. Go ahead.
Well, you know what? I wanted to wait about Jaden Daniels on the Commanders. And even though I don't have a lot of faith in the Commanders, combined with the 1 and 2 picks, I love how they went for Ben Sinnott, I think is how you pronounce his last name, at Kansas State, the tight end.
Yes.
So that, I think, could actually be a very good pairing together offensively. I thought that was smart strategy. Yeah. I like that selection very much. I also got a chance to see that it looks like the Texans, when in the second round, started beefing up their secondary, which I think we had talked about on this program before. It'd be nice to see that get a little bit stronger. So it looked like they were listening to us. So well done on, oh gosh, who was that? That was Kamari Lassiter from Georgia.
Yes, very good.
Yeah, very good choice. And it was nice to see. We've already talked about the offensive pieces for Tennessee and how they're looking to rebuild and reform themselves. But I thought they did a great job with their defensive pick from Texas, Devondre Sweat. So I like that choice. Just from the 49ers perspective, if I may, Bob, shout out. We took Renardo Green, which I am very excited about because
That
we
guy,
needed.
he can play.
Yeah, we need secondary badly. So I thought that was a great choice. I cut a couple of highlights from him when I was going through a little bit of research. So yeah, I want to good work at least from the Texans' point of view. You already said enough about the Bills. I think that's great for Keon Coleman and the Bills organization too.
Again, it was smart.
Yeah, no, it was a very smart business savvy.
Yeah,
move.
because you get this guy you were going to get anyway at the first round,
So
and now you don't have to pay him a first round contract.
Yeah.
And did you guys hear who else Buffalo just got? Cole
Who do you-
Bishop from Utah, who's a great safety. He was a very good
That'll
safety
help.
at Utah. I remember reading about him, and I forgot who they got rid of. What's his name? Micah Hyde, right, Bob?
I think so. Or what was it?
Was
Tre'Davious White.
Micah Hyde? Was it? They got rid of both.
Yeah. Okay. So
I think so. They definitely helped, fill a void there. I'm just looking very quickly if anyone else. There was somebody else, and I don't know if Derek mentioned it. Just give me 1 second. The kid from Georgia.
Kamari Lassiter?
Was
are you
it
thinking of
him?
Vlad McConkey?
Yes, McConkey.
To the Chargers, yeah.
McConkey could not get. I just saw the story today. He couldn't get on a team. I think he got 2 offers, and something happened where he met Kirby Smart at Georgia, and they connected, and the rest is history. He had 2 or 3 receiving touchdowns at SoFi Stadium in the national title game a couple years ago. So that could be very good for the Chargers. Yeah, and Harbaugh senses that.
Yeah, between that big man, between John Alt when he took it in the first and then that wide receiver, that's already 2 big pieces that Harbaugh's going to be able to work very well with.
Yeah,
he'll make some good moves with Justin Herbert on that.
And the Finns getting Patrick Ball from Houston, very tall, very tough guy. So I'm happy about that, helping improve the O line. Seeing if anyone big. Oh, I think we talked about this Trey Benson going to Arizona.
Yeah, I think that's a great.
Yeah.
I think that's a great move for Arizona.
Arizona's drafting
James Conner is there. James Conner is right there.
That's what I'm saying, because you go by committee nowadays anyway. It's very rare to have a bell cow running back nowadays. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still a couple here and there, but it is very rare. And even if you have a bell cow running back, they're still getting, say, 60% of the work, 65, and you still got the rest of the work split up with the other running backs.
And Benson can catch out of the backfield pretty well,
yes,
right?
Yes, he can.
So that's going to be interesting.
You know how many times I saw that guy turn around and catch a touchdown and go all the way? It was crazy. We're talking lots of deep, runs and catches and stuff. And when I say deep, he catches a 10-yard pass and he turns around and takes it, 75 yards, or he turns around and runs a little off counter. And as soon as he gets into that second level, all of a sudden he turns on a whole nother burst. Like I said, he had an under 4.440. I mean, the guy, he's got some speed. That's why because remember, he was at Oregon before he went to Florida State. The only reason he didn't stay at Oregon, he had that injury. And then when he came back, he was looking for an opportunity to get more playing time. And that's how he ended up at Florida State. So I point that out that he was at Oregon is because Oregon recruits a lot of their running backs for their speed.
Right. But was Cristobal there at Oregon, or was it Lanning who was coach when?
No, I think it was Cristobal.
Name was there?
I think it was Cristobal.
That makes sense. All right. Honestly, I think we might agree with. Do you want to go? I don't know, Bob. Did you put winners and losers or anything?
No,
I
because
think both
we
are
haven't
aw-
had a chance to really kind of analyze it. But I mean, if I am just going to go off the top of my head and say a winner, I'm
Buffalo.
maybe not necessarily a loser because I can't really think about it right now. But winners, I'm going to say the Rams with Fisk
Right.
and Blake Corum, and then I'm going to say the Arizona Cardinals. Those are going to be my two winners.
I think the Bills. I think the Bills, and I think the Chargers. I think they've really helped. What do you think, Derek?
Question about the Bills, though. Who else do they have offensively?
I mean, no one. That's the problem.
Okay,
That's why
so-
we're talking about the draft, though. We're talking about the draft.
No, I know, but I'm just saying this, from a winning perspective, that business move was savvy. But if we're saying the Bills look like winners because of this one pick when they have nobody else, I
No,
don't
I
know.
think the
you
next
have
best
Bishop.
wide receiver is Khalil Shakir, isn't it?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, it's a good pick. Don't get me wrong, very good draft pick. But I don't know if the
Right.
Bills. I don't know. That still seems like shaky turf to me. I will give a kind of a subtle salute to what Green Bay is doing. They seem like they're building a wall right now with their offensive line and their defensive line. I think that maybe they took some secondary, but I think they have a lot of faith in their offense. So now they're just trying to make sure they keep that as protected as possible and get more on the defensive side of the ball. So I appreciate the fact they're doing that. Give a shout out to Philly as well, just for staying consistent. They knew where their flaw was, and they've been drafting accordingly. I already talked about the Texans. And to Bob's point, the Rams made some very awesome moves defensively, and I think that's going to go a long way.
Yeah,
I agree.
I love those moves. Verse and Fisk.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Florida State was even still in the picture after Jordan Travis went down, and that's because their defense just shut. Yeah. They had, a lot of people don't realize how good their defense was up front as well as their secondary. I think their secondary, the last statistic I saw, teams were barely completing like 48% of their passes or something like that against them. So, I mean, think about it this way. They held the Heisman Trophy winner, Jaden Daniels, and he had 2 first-round wide receivers with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. They held that team to 17 points until very, very late in the game, where LSU scored a touchdown like on their very last drive, and got it to 24. And I think 14 of those points, of those 17 that they had for most of the game, I think were in the first quarter, in the first half. So their defense shut down a Heisman Trophy winner and 2 first-round wide receivers. So, I mean, Renardo Green going, like I said, over to the 49ers, and then you look at Fisk and Verse going to the Rams. Those are good picks.
No, it's great.
I feel scared now for the Niners because of the beasts we're about to face twice this season.
With the Rams, they already have an offense and just building that defense.
Well, we did get an offensive
smart.
We did get an offensive lineman in the 3rd round, even though it doesn't help our flaw, which is the right side of the ball. But at least we got something offensively on the line because we needed it.
Look, I think your Niners are awesome, and they just got to take care of business.
We'll see. We'll see about that.
That's really the biggest thing now. They got to win those big games.
We won almost all the big games except for one. Thank you for rubbing it in.
So it counts. Let me see. So we have rounds 4 through 7 tomorrow. Yeah. So it should be interesting. Hopefully, Jordan Travis from Florida State gets picked up somewhere. Spencer
I'd
Rattler.
love to see him go. I mean, I hate that his career at Florida State ended the way that it did. That was just gross.
It's not good.
And then for the team to get left out of the national or out of the playoff picture because, if the quarterback had been there, this would be a whole different story.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Then he should be drafted very high.
I don't know if you saw this or not, Derek, but I know Josh saw it. But he actually posted on his Twitter account that he wished that his injury had happened earlier in the season, just so the committee would have been able to see that they could win the games without him.
Oh,
I mean,
So
how
sad.
sad is that? That he was blaming himself, saying that, yeah, it's my fault because of when the injury happened.
oh Lord.
I mean,
Jesus.
that sucks. I hate
Yeah.
how his career ended. So
That's
I really
awful.
hope he gets drafted.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Josh,
I agree.
we've only had one go from U of A, by the way.
I know. Actually, I was going to ask you guys any sleepers for tomorrow. I have one that I might be interested to see if he goes somewhere. Is Jerry Rice's son, Brendan Rice from SC?
That's what I was. That was
Big
it.
time receiver.
Yeah.
Could he go to San Fran? Which would be awesome, Derek. If San Fran picked him up.
I don't doubt that there's been some conversations about that already.
I mean,
Jerry's-
that
Jerry's-
pedigree,
Jerry's-
how do you not take him?
Yeah, Jerry's making calls. Trust me. Now, whether
I mean,
the Yorks are picking up and taking them is another discussion. But Jerry's making
Right.
calls.
what about you, Bobo? Anybody you want to call out?
Not anybody that I can think of off the top of my head.
No.
Again,
you
not
think
anybody that I
Radler
can
will be
think
the
of.
next quarterback taken?
I do think so. I mean, he's the next highest ranked quarterback. I don't see, at least again on paper, I don't see anybody else going ahead of him.
I just read the quarterback from UTEP is going to be probably drafted.
Really?
Yeah. And the Tulane quarterback, right? I think. Bob was like, really?
I love how both of you guys like the UTEP quarterbacks being drafted. Both of you are like, yeah.
It's like Arizona.
You sure about that? I don't, because
I saw
UTEP was
someone,
down to
yeah.
like their third or fourth string quarterback for a good portion of the year.
I mean,
He must have.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if he is getting drafted, it's because he showed out that
I'm way off base.
he showed out during the postseason somewhere, like
Let me see.
whether it be like at a Senior Bowl or something like that.
So let's just very quickly here.
Just look at the next available quarterbacks.
No, I am. Spencer Radler, they think potential fit Seattle Seahawks.
Just
Michael
go off the
Pratt
list.
from-
Who's the next available quarterbacks ranked?
It's what we said. Spencer Radler, and then Michael Pratt from Tulane. And then
I like Michael Pratt.
Your boy Jordan Travis. And then who, by the way, they said could go to Baltimore. Your UTEP guy, Gavin Hardison.
Really? I didn't think that he was that solid.
Well, they said the arm strength is there for Hardison, but he needs to improve in big way with anticipation and breaking down different coverages. And they're
Like I
saying
said, he
Green
must have
Bay.
shown out somewhere because I don't remember him exactly showing out.
Yeah, there's not that many quarterbacks left. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, they all went early.
Yeah, six.
They all went
six
very
in the
early.
Six in the first 15 picks. 6.
But
That was all first round talent too, so it's
yeah.
understandable.
That is true. All right, gentlemen. Well, do you have anything else to say concerning this year's NFL draft?
Well, I don't have anything about the NFL draft. It's more you guys better make sure you do your homework for the NBA playoffs next week.
Oh, that's right. And do we have a special guest coming in?
I need to talk to you both about that. That might not be able to happen next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she got called to go to work in Vegas for a conference, so she got to go do that.
Well, we
but
can push it off.
She's very anxious and she feels very bad about the fact that she can't make next week because this kind of snuck up on her. But we'll get her on here. We'll talk about it.
So I mean, we still got some time on the playoffs. I mean, we're still in April. We still got.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the playoffs are. I think everybody right now. I was looking. Everybody's got at least one win in the playoffs.
Mhm.
So except the Lakers. So all of them are at least going to go 5-6 games in the first round. So we still got plenty of time.
Well, she'll
Now,
be
the Lakers are done. The Lakers,
be on your way. Be on your way.
yeah, they're awful.
Yeah.
Well, they're not awful. It's just the matchup that they got. But we'll get into that when we start talking about the NBA playoffs.
We'll start talking about that.
That's fine. All right, gentlemen. How can people find you? Bob, how can people find you?
You can find me over at my YouTube channel. Was it good at Bob Loves Movies? We actually went over 250 subscribers today. And last I checked, we're at 255 last I checked. So.
Oh, that's yours, not ours. Sorry, I got excited.
No, ours is screechy right along here. So, but I will say this: I did post a video of us doing the "If They Made It" segment, and after I did, we picked up 3 subscribers. So
there you go.
There we are. Baby
How
steps.
many views did that video get? That's the question.
I don't know, but I did send that clip to several people. And I was like, hey, check this out. I think you'll get a kick out of this. So hopefully we got some subscribers out of it. But like I said, we picked up 3. So
nice. All right, Mr. Tandro, where can we find you?
You can find me at maybe some diner like Marie Callender's around 5 o'clock with everybody else that's old on Facebook and LinkedIn.
The only question is, do they have cheesecake?
They better.
There you go.
Bob loves this. Bob loves his carrot cake. Bob
That's right.
loves his carrot cake.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
That's how I got this wonderful physique.
That's right. Good God. All right. You can find me. I'm the family man of the Valley. I'm a realtor here in Southern California. You can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn. What else? I think that's it. I think I got them all. But anyway, we hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. And we will see you next Wednesday for Dad's Turn to Talk. Talk to you soon. Have a great evening.
Good night, guys.
Good, everybody.
Good night.